So with ShotScope, you can have a in-depth look at your game through strokes gained. Now, strokes gained has been used on the tour for many a year, but now it is available to everybody who uses ShotScope products as well by tracking the stats. Now, this is something that I use personally within my own game. I have a little bit more of an understanding of how it works now. It used to be very complicated.
I think that's a lot of people's fear, but I think once you get into the app, it becomes pretty easy, doesn't it?
Well, that's the best thing about this. It simplifies it to the point where you don't have to calculate it, you don't have to think about it. So strokes gained gives you a numerical score, if you will, about how well certain parts of your game are performing. If you have a plus score, that means you're performing well against these benchmarks, which we'll speak about in a moment. If you have a minus score, that means you're performing under where you should be, and that is an area for improvement.
Yeah, I think knowing, and it does each area also. So whether it's your tee shots, your approaches, your short game. So I think that'll give you a good idea of where you are working well and where you aren't working well, so you can focus time to the correct areas of your game as well. And I think the benchmarking part's really good as well, Pete. When you look at the actual app, you're able to go in, and if you are, let's say, a 10 handicapper, but you have aspirations of getting down into single figures, scratch, even seeing what a tour player does, you can see where you are against those players. So you're able to then think, well, I need to improve by 10% compared to a 5 handicapper, or whatever it may be against a 15, and it gives you actually a good idea of where you are with your game.
That for me is the magic of this, because every real iteration of strokes gained that I've seen before this is all about the best players in the world and how they perform. If you're a 10 handicapper and you can benchmark yourself strokes gained against other 10 handicappers, that's really useful because it gives you a much more accurate representation of where you're at with your game. And this is, for me, the magic of it, because what strokes gained does is it groups all your shots together, and it's not just about if you hit a fairway, it's also about the distance coupled with that and everything in between. So that's why I think it's the best system for actually understanding where you're at with your game.
Definitely. So if you are using the app, make sure, don't be scared of it firstly. Get in and use strokes gained, and you'll start to see some real improvements on the right areas of your game.